Hey everyone, welcome back to the Swiftly Sung Stories podcast. I'm Jen, your Swifty English teacher, and today we are tackling track 7 in my track-by-track analysis of the life of a showgirl. And we're diving straight into the scathing satire of Actually Romantic. In my last few episodes, I analyzed Taylor's prologue poem and the first 6 tracks of this album. So go check those out because it lays a lot of groundwork for understanding all of the themes that Taylor is exploring in these lyrics. Quick PSA, all of this content is available on my website if you want the text version with annotated lyrics. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can also find me wherever you get your podcasts and vice versa. Okay, let's lay a little bit of groundwork as to the themes of Actually Romantic, and then we will roll into our line-by-line dissection. Welcome to Swiftly Sung Stories, where we unpack the Taylor Swift universe one era, album, and lyric at a time. Think of it like English class, but it's all Taylor Swift and none of the boring stuff. I'm Jen, your Swifty English teacher, and class is in session, so come on in and meet me in the margins. Before we go into detail, quick caveat. I only discuss Taylor Swift's personal life in my lyrical analysis when it is essential to understanding the text or when it really helps us put these lyrics into context. I'm not here to discover what Taylor Swift did or who she's beefing with or any of that. I'm here to discover what the art does and what the art says. Also, I am dissecting Taylor's lyrics through my lens and my opinion as a writer and as a former English teacher, and that doesn't mean this has to be your lens or your opinion. All art is subjective, and that's why it's so fun to look at because it means so many different things to different people. So in this analysis, I'm not saying it's fact or gospel. I'm just here to point out different interpretations and then you can draw your own conclusions. So take what you resonate with and leave the rest. Okay, so what or who is Actually Romantic about? In her release party of a showgirl, Taylor said that this song is a love letter to someone who hates you. Like, it's flattering, she said. Like, I don't hate you and I don't think about this, but like, thank you for all the effort. Of course, as with any Taylor Swift diss track or perceived diss track, we all point fingers at who we think it could be about. And I don't want to get into this too much, but there is one thing that I want to address because it's been bothering me. And that's that the finger keeps pointing at Charli XCX, claiming that Actually Romantic is Taylor's response to Sympathy as a Knife, which Charli supposedly wrote about Taylor. But if you take one look at the lyrics to Sympathy as a Knife, you will see that that is a song about Charli's own insecurities, and it's an incredibly vulnerable song. Here's just a snapshot of the lyrics. Because I couldn't be her even if I tried. I'm opposite. I'm on the other side. I feel all these things I can't control. Oh no, don't know why. All this sympathy is just a knife. So Sympathy as a Knife, no matter who inspired it, is really about Charli. It's not really a diss track. It's detailing her own vulnerabilities. So to claim that Actually Romantic is a response is just, it's a real disconnect for me. If you believe that this is about Charli XCX, you have your own opinion and I have mine, and that's okay. In the end, does it actually matter who Actually Romantic is about? No. Because just like with any song, when we try to pin down and dissect the muse, that takes away from the real message and the real meaning. In this album, Taylor is all about duality. It's the life of a showgirl versus the life of the girl behind the show. That's a narrative thread that runs through and makes this album cohesive. It's these two sides of herself. The side that's in the public eye and people love to critique, and the side of her that's private and wants to have a private life. In some songs like Eldest Daughter, Wish List, Ruin the Friendship, she seems to be narrating as just the private girl. But in some songs like Father Figure and Cancelled, and in this track, Actually Romantic, she seems to be narrating from the showgirl point of view. But in all of these songs, it's a balancing act. It's how can I maintain this showgirl facade while also maintaining a private life and being vulnerable. And in this song, no matter who it's really about, it's about trying to maintain that facade so that the girl underneath doesn't get hurt. And she's using satire to do it. So let's get into the lyrics. So the first verse opens with, I heard you call me boring Barbie when the Cokes got you brave. So we are in the present tense, and our showgirl narrator is relaying some gossip that's being said about her. This is our inciting incident that unfolds the rest of this narrative. This unknown character, the subject of the song, that you has labeled her a boring Barbie. To most people, this would feel like an insult. A boring Barbie is a metaphor. It's just someone who's unoriginal, perfect on the outside, but plastic on the inside, formulaic, produced for the masses. But our narrator kind of takes it in stride, assuming that this person has been skiing on the snowy slopes and in their drug-fueled haze has decided to just hurl insults. And they're braver and they're more vocal because they're very not sober. But it's also a subtle dig, essentially calling this person a drug addict. High-fived my ex and said, "You're glad he ghosted me," she goes on. So this is a clue that the subject is someone within our narrator's inner circle or former inner circle. Whether this points to a particular person or not doesn't really matter because it's this closeness or perceived closeness. It's what that implies. She's trying to rally others in their lives to join this hate train. This isn't just a quiet hatred or some subtle jealousy. It's like an all-out war, and the subject is trying to band others together to also hate our narrator. Wrote me a song saying it makes you sick to see my face, she says. Some people might be offended. So the subject is also likely someone in the music industry as they're writing songs. But this is also our catalyst for this song. You wrote me a diss track, I'll write you a diss track. It's like tit for tat in this war between them. And while some people might be offended, our narrator isn't. And we're going to learn why in the chorus. But it's actually sweet, she says in the first chorus. All the time you've spent on me. So she's saying some people might take this as an insult, but I take it as a compliment. And this is where actually romantic really diverges from other quote-unquote clapback songs in Taylor's catalog. In songs like, "This is why we can't have nice things," "Look what you made me do," and "I forgot you existed," she's risen above the hate and casually brushed it off. But here, she doesn't just brush it off. She takes it one step further. She takes it as a compliment. And in those other clapback songs, we got to hear how Taylor was hurt by whomever she was writing the song about. Here, there's no hurt at all. It's just water off a duck's back. This song, I think, is more in the vein of Blank Space, where Taylor uses satire and sarcasm to do a more subtle clapback. That song was likely in response to the media's portrayal of Taylor as this man-eater. So instead of fighting back, she leaned in and wrote Blank Space as if she were this character that they were making her out to be. Here she's doing pretty much the same thing. She's saying, "Oh my God, it's so sweet that you've dedicated your life to me." And of course, this is sarcasm and satire. Does she actually think it's sweet that people hate her and constantly talk shit about her? No. But as the showgirl, she's got this new outlook. Any press is good press. If you're talking about me, it doesn't matter what you're saying. It's still saying my name and making me more powerful and more powerful. It's honestly wild, she goes on, all the effort you've put in. Honestly wild is another subtle dig because it's a phrase that usually means that something is surprising, but not in a good way. So our subject has put an awful lot of effort into hating someone that doesn't even really seem to know them. The undertone is you must really not have anything else going on in your life if you have all this time that you've dedicated to me. It's actually romantic, she says, and this pulls in the song's title for the first time. And on the surface, it means like, oh my God, you're so obsessed with me. You must like be in love with me or something. But there's also a subtle dual meaning here. There's romantic as an expression of love. And then there's romanticizing something, which is expressing this idealized view of reality. And here she's hinting at both. She both takes it as an expression of love, like, you must think about me so much, you must be in love with me. But what she's covertly saying is, you're romanticizing me in our relationship. You are delusional. You've made this into some big thing when I think about you, never. I really got to hand it to you, she says. No man has ever loved me like you do. This is such a funny, sarcastic line, and it's saying, all of this hard work you've done for absolutely no reason. Like, no man has ever put this much time and energy into me. It's like, I've got to give you props. Not even all my romantic partners have ever paid this much attention to me. So the central message layered in all of this satire and sarcasm is, wow, you're like really obsessed with me and I don't think about you. It's like the scene in Mean Girls where Katie says to Janice, you're like in love with me or something. The second verse starts, hadn't thought of you in a long time, but you keep sending me funny Valentines. So our narrator is just living her best life, blissfully unaware of all the drama that the subject is stewing in. But then this obsessive drama queen pops back up out of nowhere with funny Valentines. A Valentine is usually a message of love or adoration, but our narrator takes these ones as funny. She's reframing these hateful messages as just these silly little odes. So these funny Valentines could be the song she wrote or the boring Barbie quip or anything that's meant to be hurtful. For our narrator, it doesn't land. She thinks it's funny because she sees this delusion. It's not just hate, it's obsession. And I know you think it comes off as vicious, she continues, but it's precious, adorable. So the subject might be trying to be a bad bitch or a savage, as she says in Eldest Daughter, but it's not working. She labels it as precious and adorable, which infantilizes all of these attempts to be essentially the big bad wolf. She goes on, like a toy chihuahua barking at me from a tiny purse. That's how much it hurts. This hater is not the big bad wolf that she thinks she is. She is a tiny, yippy, annoying dog. The simile is layered too. Our subject isn't only the tiny, barky dog that you wish would shut up. She's also caged inside a tiny purse. So what she is describing here is the stereotype of the rich Hollywood bitch who totes her tiny dog around as an accessory. But our subject isn't even that Beverly Hills blonde. She's the tiny dog. She's the accessory. She's inconsequential. She's a little dog who thinks she's a big dog but has no real power. And her bark is worse than her bite, but she can't even escape the purse to bite. That's how much power and influence she has, which is none. This is just a brutal lyric. That's how much it hurts means it doesn't hurt at all because it was never coming from someone with big enough teeth to begin with. She closes out the second verse with, how many times has your boyfriend said, why are we always talking about her? She imagines that this person is so obsessed with her that it's derailing her personal life. And she's pointing out the distinction between this imagined romance and a very real romance in the subject's life. She has a boyfriend, but spends all her time talking about this imaginary fight with her imaginary sworn enemy. She's romanticized this hate so much that she's letting it interfere in her real relationship, her real romances. What our narrator is saying, in other words, is maybe you should rethink where you put your energy, because being this spiteful is only going to drive away the people that love you. Like, maybe rethink your priorities here. So the chorus repeats, and then we enter the bridge. You think I'm tacky, baby. Stop talking dirty to me. So this person keeps hurling insults, and the narrator keeps deflecting by reframing the narrative. But there's a dual meaning to talking dirty. The obvious is a pillow talk type of talking dirty with sexual connotations. But then there's talking dirty as in shit talking or trash talking. The subject wants these words to come out as trash talking, but they're received as talking dirty. You talk shit about me, she's saying, but all I hear is your obsession with me. She just keeps deflecting. It sounded nasty, but it feels like you're flirting with me, she continues. Anything that comes out of the subject's mouth, our narrator will receive as suggestive and romantic. It's the ultimate deflection tool. But nasty also has a dual meaning, just like talking dirty. There's sexually nasty. Then there's this catty type of nasty. So she's using one to imply the other, which really shows just how easily she can flip it and reverse it. I mind my business. God's my witness that I don't provoke it, she goes on. And this is another loaded phrase. Mind my business on one hand means that she keeps to herself and she lets go of things that aren't her job. But on the other hand, it means she literally minds her business. And that is the business of Taylor Swift, Inc. When someone won't let her mind her business and keeps attacking, she will mind her business first. She'll protect her brand. She'll protect her reputation. So God's my witness that I don't provoke it is ironic because this song is provoking it. And she's definitely not minding her business by writing the song and releasing it. That's part of the humor of this whole narrative. Then there's the last line of the bridge. It's kind of making me wet. This brings the satire to a whole new level. Not only will she take all of these insults as compliments and reframe all of this attention as romantic, but she'll also get off on it. Like anything adds fuel to the fire. It's like she's saying, keep saying my name because it only ruins you and promotes me. And in this showgirl world where any press is good press, it'll only generate more attention, and that's the entire point. The final chorus repeats, because it's actually sweet all the time you've spent on me. You can try to tear me down all you want, she's saying, but I will just take it as a compliment every single time, and I will disarm you of any power you ever held over me. It's honestly lovely, she says, again, sarcastically, all the effort you put in. Honestly lovely is Taylor's version of the barbed Southern phrase, bless your heart. It's intended to kill with kindness, like a wolf in sheep's clothing. It's actually romantic, she says again. I really gotta hand it to you. No man has ever loved me like you do. The backhanded message here is maybe rethink all the time you spent hating me because my God, you've spent a lot of time and energy on hating me more than any man ever has. It's actually romantic, she goes on. You've just given me so much attention. And the subtle implication is maybe if you spent half as much time on loving yourself as you do hating me, you wouldn't feel the need to project all of these insecurities onto me. It's actually romantic, she repeats one last time. And then she ends the song with, it's so romantic. Ending on this final word draws attention to it, and it's here that we need to circle back to the dual meanings of romantic or romance. Our narrator reframes this negative attention as these romantic overtures, but also suggests that the subject is romanticizing this one-sided feud into something that's all-consuming. She has this idealized view of reality where her hated object is demeaned and dejected by her insults. But in our narrator's reality, the showgirl just skips away into the sunset, completely and utterly unaffected. And that's the shield that she's built to protect the girl inside the show, which she gets into more in Eldest Daughter. That shield is doing its job here in this song. And in the song, we don't really get to hear from the girl inside the showgirl. We don't get to hear any vulnerability. We don't get to hear about something that hurt. This is strictly the showgirl talking. And the real Taylor inside might be affected by all of this hate, but the show, in the facade of the show, where any press is good press, can deflect all of it. By the end, do we know if this is real growth on Taylor's part, where she's really learned to rise above the hate, or if it's just another layer of the show or the facade? No, that's the job of other songs to show that vulnerability. But the job of this song is really, I see it the same way as Blank Space. It's to say, I know exactly what you're saying about me, but I no longer care. It's just reframing the narrative and taking control of the narrative. And if we take a step back, this message could really apply to any hater in the Taylor Swift universe, because there are a lot. And just because this message seems to be pointed at one person in particular, it doesn't mean that it also doesn't apply to other critics at large. And it could be a bait and switch, right? Like she could be talking about all of us, but pointing us away from that and pointing at one particular person, fictional or not. But what's actually romantic is how much we all talk about Taylor Swift, how much we all think about Taylor Swift. And if all press is good press, then there's nothing to be pressed about. And that's actually sweet when you think about it. that's my analysis of track 7, Actually Romantic. Thank you so much for joining me here. In my next episode, we are moving on to track 8, Wish List. So please like and subscribe wherever you're seeing or hearing this so you can follow along. All of this content is available on my website where I have the annotated lyrics, so check that out. I also have some fun lyric quizzes on there and stuff. And if you could leave a comment or a review, I'm really just starting this channel and it helps so much. I'm terrible promoting myself. I'm so nervous to do that. I'm like, you can't see it, but I'm sweating through my sweatshirt here. Thank you so much for being here and spending your time with me. I appreciate it so much, and I will see you in the next track. That's it for this chapter of Swiftly Sung Stories. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please don't forget to follow, subscribe, or leave a review. It helps other Swifties find their way here. I'm Jen, and I had a marvelous time reading everything with you. See you next time.